Okay, good morning. Good morning. Tashi delay. Thank you for joining us. I hope you saw our broadcast last week and you're joining us again. If you're new to this, welcome. And for those that are coming back, welcome back. My name is Anilisa. Sometimes people call me Anila. I am a Tibetan Buddhist nun. I'm also a registered nurse, and I'm part of the family at Kunde Institute. And Kunde's offering these self-care, self-help classes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, just to kind of help us deal with the situation we're in and offer a little sustenance in this time of crisis. So on Mondays and Fridays, you'll have Dr. Kelzang here, and she'll be talking about self-care at home, things you can do at home to boost your immunity, diet tips, things like that. And on Wednesdays, we'll be doing these meditations. So you might say, part of this got cut off last week, so this may be new information for some people. If you don't have a meditation practice, if you have an established practice, this will be some review, but for some reason this didn't record last week, so we'll just do a little brief review here. So we'll start with meditation. Why are we meditating? What's the purpose? Well, we meditate to work with our minds, to train our minds. So you can think of the analogy of like an athlete or a musician. You know, you wouldn't go out and win a marathon your first day out, or you wouldn't sit down at the piano if you've never played the piano and suddenly be able to play, Beethoven or Bach or whatever. I mean, you'd train for it. You take it in little baby steps. And we do the same thing with meditation. We start slow and we build on it. And like any practice, any skill that you're trying to learn, you'll have good days and bad days. And you just, if you have a bad day, just leave it. Start again the next day. You fall off the bike, you get back on. So, and again, it takes practice and it takes time. But the important thing is to keep going, to keep trying. So why do we want to train our minds? Well, when we train our minds, we calm ourselves, we create focus, we learn to focus. And when we can calm our minds and we can focus, we create space. And what do we do in that space? When we have that space, we're better able to use our wisdom to deal with stress, to deal with negativities, to deal with situations. If we can take that breath and just pause, we're kind of able to tame the chaos and the distractions, the internal ones and the external ones. We can't make them go away, always going to be there. We're not trying to tune them out or just sort of escape from reality. We can't do that. But when we can calm our minds and we can focus and create some space, we can kind of diminish them a little bit, and we can use that time to find a way to better deal with them, to deal with them in a healthier way, a more positive way. And this has, it has health benefits medically. When we can calm our minds and we can decrease our stress levels, our blood pressure goes down, we sleep better, we're better able to concentrate, our memory improves, we just have a general sense of well-being. So we say that we have monkey mind. In Buddhism, we say monkey mind. We always have thoughts and emotions and memories and feelings are just constantly to-do lists, just racing around in our mind all the time. And we need to we can't make them go away, but we can kind of turn the volume down a little bit when we can create this space and calm our minds and learn to focus. So we're going to do 2 meditations today. And that may sound overwhelming if you've never meditated, but I promise you it won't be that bad. The first one we're going to do is called a concentration or a stabilization meditation. And we did this last week, where we're just going to pick an object to focus on. In this case, we're going to use our breath. It's the easiest thing we have. We're always breathing. It's the first thing we do when we're born, and it's the last thing we do when we pass out of this world. Our breath is always with us. So we can do this anywhere. We don't need to have any special equipment or, training stuff. We don't need to have a training outfit. We don't need to get to the track kind of a thing. We can sit and focus on our breath anywhere. I mean, ideally, I would suggest if you're starting out, do this twice a day. Get up in the morning, spend a few minutes before you start your day, and just focusing on your breath, calming yourself, sort of setting your intention to have hopefully a good day or to deal with whatever comes your way. And then in the evening before you go to bed, take that few minutes again to just find a quiet space and sit, focus on your breath, and just sort of let go of the day, the good, the bad, let it go, because it's over, it's done with, you can't change it, let it go. The next day is a new day. And if you have an established practice, great, and you want to add this in to what you're already doing, wonderful. If not, that's okay too. You have to find what works for you. We're all individuals and everything's going to be a little different for everybody. So we have to find what works for you. So as I said, you can do this breathing meditation anywhere. When we're back out in the world again and you're sitting in the car and you're stuck in traffic and you can feel your blood pressure going up, you're getting stressed, stop, take a deep breath, focus on your breath for a minute, and you'll find your blood pressure will come down, the stress will be relieved. Not completely, of course, but it will help. I promise you that. So this first meditation is going to be about 5 minutes long. I have a timer, so you'll hear a bell at the beginning and a bell at the end. And what we're going to do, as I said, is focus on our breath. So we'll start with a little logistics in the beginning. We'll start with our positioning. So the main thing when we're in a position when we meditate is our positioning is we want to be comfortable. So you can be seated in a chair. I'm seated in a chair. If it's more comfortable for you to be seated on the floor, on a cushion on the floor, that's great. Not comfortable for me. I prefer to sit in a chair. And as I said, it's wherever you're comfortable, because when your body is comfortable and feeling secure and settled, the mind will settle down. If the body's feeling uncomfortable, your back hurts, your hip hurts, your knees hurt, your mind will not settle down. It's going to focus on those aches and pains. So whether you're seated in a chair or on the floor, you want to sit up straight but not stiff. We just want to sit up straight. You don't want to be leaning back against the chair, kind of slumping. You want to sit up nice and straight. And we do that for a variety of reasons. Number one, it opens up our lungs so we can take deeper breaths, creates that physical space in our chest. And it opens up, we have energy channels that run along the side of our spine. And when we sit up nice and straight, we open up those channels. We allow the energy to flow. If you're seated in a chair, you want to have your feet on the floor. And that just creates that grounding sensation, that connection to the earth, feeling grounded. And you can have your hands resting on your knees. There's a traditional meditation pose. I'll put my hands up here so you can see. Right on the left with thumbs touching, and you can have that in your lap. But if that feels awkward or uncomfortable, don't have to do that. Again, what feels most comfortable. So, you can just rest your hands on your lap. We can shake out our shoulders a little bit, our necks. We tend to hold a lot of tension without even realizing our shoulders creep up, our necks get tense. So shake it out a little bit, sort of release any tension that we have there. And as I said, we're going to focus on our breath. So we're going to breathe normally, in and out. You can breathe in through your nose and through your mouth. Again, what's most normal for you at a normal pace. And we're going to add something to it to create that focus. So we're going to focus on our breath coming in at our mouth or our nostrils, or you can focus on the rise and fall of your chest. Again, pick a focal point, and then we're going to add to it to, again, keep our minds focused, because there's going to be distractions. We can either count our breaths, trying to achieve a count of 10, counting on the exhalation, or we can just think breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Again, something just to help focus our minds. And there will be distractions. If you're home with your kids right now, the kids might start acting up. The doorbell might ring, the phone might ring. I have a dog, she's sleeping right now. I hope she's not going to wake up and bark. She might. But again, we're not trying to tune those out. We're not trying to just, escape from the world, but we're just trying to let them fade into the background and not really pay attention to them. We can think of our minds as a clear blue sky. When you go outside in the summer and the nice weather and there's just clear blue, just expansive, endless sky. And the thoughts, the feelings, the to-do lists, the memories, they're just clouds. They might be fluffy white clouds. They might be big dark clouds, but they're just clouds, and they're going to pass by. They're going to just come and go. And behind those clouds, that blue sky is always there, that clear, knowing, endless blue sky. And that's what our minds are, that calm, clear, expansive blue sky. And all those other things are just the clouds passing by. We don't pay any attention to them. We just let them go. So as I said, we're going to do this for about 5 minutes or so. So I'm going to set a timer. So you'll hear a bell at the beginning, and then you'll hear a bell again after 5 minutes. And then after we do this, we'll move on to our guided meditation, and I'll explain a little bit more when we get to that point. So before we start, let's just take a few deep breaths just to kind of settle in. So we'll do 3 deep breaths. So we'll breathe in for a count of 3. Take a slight pause, and then exhale for a count of 3. And we'll do this 2 more times. In breath, slight pause, breathe out. And 1 more. Breathing in, slight pause, and breathing out. And now if you'd like, you can close your eyes. That may help to minimize with any visual distractions. Don't have to, but when you're starting out, sometimes it helps to close your eyes. And we'll begin. So that was 5 minutes. Excuse me. That was 5 minutes. It might have felt like an eternity if you're just starting out. It may have been just right, and that's okay. If it felt like it was too long, you didn't feel like you could sit for that long, or you just got way too distracted, no worries. When you try this at home on your own, do it for 2 or 3 minutes, or even 1 minute. You start where you're at, and then you build on that. So now we're going to move on to our second meditation, which in this case is a guided meditation, sometimes called analytical meditation. And the reason we do the first type of meditation, the focusing meditation, is so that when we do a guided meditation, we can use that focus that we've developed in the first one to focus on whatever we're working through with the analytical or the guided meditation, be it a concept, an issue, a problem, whatever. Because when we've learned to focus, then we can use that and apply that laser focus we hope we'll develop on whatever issue or concept that we're working with. So in this case, we're going to do a visualization. So I'm going to be describing something, and you're going to be trying to just visualize it in your mind. You'll just be trying to focus on the words that I'm saying and trying to visualize what I'm saying. And if you can't visualize it, it's okay. That's just listen and do the best that you can. So take a minute now in between. You can shift a little in your seat if you need to. If you need to stretch a little, that's okay. I don't advise getting up and walking around between your meditations. That sort of breaks that calm that we've already created with our breathing meditation. So we'll settle back in. If you need to take a few deep breaths before we start, that's good too, just to settle back into this space. And in Buddhism, when we do a meditation, or we do really any meritorious activity, we always set a motivation at the beginning, and then we seal it with a dedication. And what that does is that sort of seals in the merit, the good karma, the positive energy that we're creating by taking this time out of our busy lives to do something good for ourselves and ultimately good for others. Sort of puts it in the bank, puts it in our good karma bank. So our motivation in Buddhism is always bodhicitta. And that sounds like a complicated term, but it just basically means we're working on ourselves. We're trying to develop ourselves, come to our own enlightenment, awakening, if you will, so that we can be of the greatest benefit to others. And that's really all that life is about. And that's not a Buddhist, solely a Buddhist philosophy. That's a universal concept. The better we are, the more we work on ourselves to improve ourselves, the better we can be to help others, because ultimately our purpose in life is to help each other. We're all in this together. So again, we'll get comfortable, sitting up straight, taking some nice deep breaths. Again, if you're probably easier with a visualization to close your eyes. A few deep breaths, and we'll set our motivation of bodhicitta, determination to achieve our own awakening so that we can be of the greatest benefit to all others. So imagine, try to visualize, if you will, just a white light, like a ball, maybe the size of a baseball or a softball. It's just floating above your head, weightless, just sort of a luminous white light. Just floating there. And if you can't really see it in your mind's eye, just know that it's there. Just sort of feel that it's there if you can't actually really have a clear picture of it. So just take a few seconds and try to visualize this white light just floating above our heads, just emitting this crystal clear, luminous white light. And now we can imagine that starts to shrink down, become more concentrated, gets smaller and smaller. The light doesn't change, it's just as bright and luminous, but it gets a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller. Maybe now it's the size of a pea, till it shrinks down till it's maybe the size of a pinhead, the head of a pin. And when it gets really, really small, it just effortlessly enters our bodies to the top of our head. It doesn't hurt, it just floats right in. And once it enters our bodies, it starts to spread, that white light, it starts to expand again. And it's not painful. We can think of it as a warmth if you can't actually visualize the light. And you can imagine like taking cake batter and filling a cake pan or a cake mold. But it just slowly spreads out, fills all the spaces, starts in our heads, slowly goes down through our neck, our shoulders, down our arms, down to our fingertips, through our chest, our torso, down through your hips, your legs, all the way down to the tips of your toes. And just slowly this white light just fills the entire inside of our bodies. And again, it's just this luminous white light. And if you want to feel like there's a sense of warmth to it, that you have this warmth infusing throughout your body, that's okay. You can think of it that way. And the purpose of this white light is to heal. It's a healing light. It's a healing energy. So everywhere this light touches, we can imagine that it's healed. Of course, we're not actually physically healing anything, but we're sending out that positive energy, that positive thought, and that's huge to send that energy out there. It makes a big difference. So if you have any physical pain, neck ache, backache, hips, arthritis, whatever, you can imagine wherever those aches and pains are, when this light gets there and fills that space, it heals it. It takes away that pain, that physical pain. And if you have emotional pain, psychological pain, bad memories, issues you're working with, negative thoughts, you can think of that as darkness. So if we have any darkness in us anywhere, that light enters and it just illuminates it, because light always drives out darkness. So it heals those things too. It drives out that darkness and heals it. So we'll just take a minute or two to just imagine this white light spreading throughout our bodies and just healing us physically, mentally, again, wherever we're having some pain, some negativity. And now we're going to sort of concentrate that light. So we can still keep that light throughout our bodies, healing us, but it's going to come to a focal point, sort of coalesce back into that orb, that ball of light, which is still shining throughout our bodies. It's still illuminating all the dark spots and healing all the aches and pains, but it's coming to a center, and that center is at our heart. So you can visualize, you can feel a sense of warmth right in the center of your chest, just this glowing white orb of healing light. And that light is always there. Actually, it's always been there. We just didn't pay attention to it in the past. It's always there. Timeless light, beginningless, endless, always there. And now if you'd like, if you feel like it, if you don't have to do this, you can send that light out. We can think of someone we know personally, a friend, a family member that's suffering. Unfortunately, so many people suffering right now. We can just think of people in general who are suffering. And if that's too much, don't have to do this. If it's just enough to heal yourself right now, that's okay. But if you want, you can think of someone who's suffering or people who are suffering, and we can send that light out to them. So it goes out from our chest, sort of like a laser beam. Doesn't diminish the supply we have, because we have an endless supply of this healing energy. It's always there in our hearts, never diminishes, even when we send it out to the world. But we can send it out to someone. Imagine someone that's suffering, send it to them, and that light enters them through their chest, at their heart, and it spreads throughout their body like it did with us, and it heals them, heals their physical pain, their illness, any psychological, emotional issues they're going through, hard times. It heals them. And of course, we're not actually doing this. Would be wonderful if we could. No, it would be such a gift. But just sending out that positive intention, that positive energy, it makes a little shift in the consciousness, and it makes a difference. So we'll take a minute or two, and we'll just imagine, if you will, if you want, sending that light out to people that are suffering, and trying to send them some healing, some positive energy, some good wishes. And again, this doesn't diminish our own supply. It's always there. It's a never-ending supply. So we can send it out as far and wide as we want, and we won't diminish our own supply. And now we'll bring that attention back to the light at our hearts. Again, knowing that that light is always there. Sometimes it's brighter than others, but we can access it at any time. It's always with us, never diminishes. And again, we can send it out when we need to. Now we'll gently bring our meditation to a close. We'll offer our dedication. Any merit, any good karma, positive energy that we created by taking this time out of our day to heal ourselves and heal others, to offer compassion to others. We'll dedicate that merit for our own awakening and ultimately for the awakening of all beings. If you've had your eyes closed, you can slowly open your eyes, gently bring yourself out of your meditation. So I hope that went well for you. I hope you got something out of it. We're recording these sessions, so if you got interrupted or you just couldn't sit still, that's okay. You can go back and watch this at a better time, a more convenient time, maybe a quieter time. And we'll be back here again next Wednesday, same time, 10:30, Facebook Live. We'll do another same thing, breathing meditation, and we'll do a different guided meditation next week. So in the meantime, I wish you good health. I wish you happiness. Don't forget to breathe. So important to breathe. Take it one day at a time. Wash your hands, stay home, stay safe, and most of all, be good to each other. So with that, Tadiche, thank you.